All right, yeah, something about the spleen likes to laugh. We started with that. Anyway, so aloha, guys, and today we're going to be doing the G, the ego, and the sacral. And what's really, first of all, I think I've already shared, this could get big. And if it does get big and we need to break it up, that's fine. I will review the first 8 or 10 slides. And if you're downloading this or you're getting this in some sort of a self study module or whatever, really maybe go back and review these first 10 slides that I'm going to go over pretty quickly because that really is the basis of understanding the centers. And I do that in much more depth in a couple of, couple of classes previous. Um, I thought we were being really brilliant. Like the first week, I'm like, oh yeah, the pressure to the throat, and then the second week, it's like, oh, and then the awareness centers, and then I got here yesterday, and it's not that we didn't just get here yesterday, but it was my second or third time through the presentation, and I went over to the coffee shop after our talk show, and I went through it, and Joan was there, dude. I literally just went like this. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is a lot. I, I really thought the organization was like we had finally gotten it right, and now this is a lot of weight. I mean, we could, this is at least a couple of corners of the Bermuda Triangle, if not the entire Bermuda Triangle. So anyway, so G, ego, and sacral. Identity through space, ego, material well-being, material plane or not, and sacral, obviously life. Okay, just remembering that we do have 9 centers, and each of them has 4 views, guys. I really want you to see this, because if you don't get this part, you're going to go wandering off into fairyland, and I may never get you back. I know I say that from experience, not because I don't want you to go off into all the incredible code, but it's like, look, if you can't bring it back to this matrix and understand how it relates to the rest of it, you really will be lost with a parts list instead of understanding a holistic of what's going on in this body graph. Understanding this body graph is the whole deal for human design, at least in that level of humans. That we do have these qualitative differences, pressures, motors, awarenesses, and voices, right? And guys, just 2 or 3 keynotes on each one of these things, guys, 2 or 3 keynotes, and you can just start to work with charts and work with people. I mean, it is really that simple. That your open centers with nothing hanging, that's truly an open center. An undefined center is an open center with some gates, and defined centers, obviously, 2 gates, making a channel, creating life force that's fixed birth to death. That everything is pushing towards the throat for expression. Even Teresa made fun of me yesterday. Yes, I want to talk. Yes, I do. I'm just not always allowed to, okay? I mean, it's just that simple. That we do have these pressure centers, and just to really revisit that 70% of the planet has no fucking idea what they're thinking about or why and it really is a scary thing. And to watch the momentum of the planet speeding up as people are trying to get more and more and more. And it's like, wow, dude, this is such a path of not resisting life, not trying to overcome things, not trying to push yourself. I mean, it takes a certain vigilance to break the old addictions. It does, but anybody that's, even if it was getting off coffee or whatever your thing is, or it's the same process. It's just that, you're not going to continue to feed the addiction. And just watch the world go insane, guys. I really want you to get, you guys are going to be okay. It may not look the way you want it to look, but you're going to be okay if you just learn to relax. The money somehow shows up, the people show up. And I'm not saying I don't wake up scared many days. It's just done. It's true, guys. I mean, that's the other part of being spleen is I'm aware at any moment, I could be someone's lunch, basically, or the forces could take me out. I mean, my brother got taken out three or 4 months ago. I mean, he was 2 years younger than me. I mean, this is a fragile existence. And we're not in control of that either, so don't go worrying about that. That, we have three awareness centers, survival in the moment, the mind, anxiety over all time, whether you have it or not. Awareness centers, emotional wave, right? The emotional center. Nervousness in a wave, whether you have it or not. Okay? You get it, guys. You guys all have all of this. And then these four motors that are they're fixed, they're available, they're available to express their energy in different ways. Again, though, you have to start with aura as this basic, how do I meet life?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it wasn't even long today.
Mm-hmm.
I did good.
That was thorough.
My open ego will be happy. You guys don't wait. We're gonna have an open ego open house. That's coming soon. So we'll start our, and of course it'll be free. Open ego open house. Of course it's free. And I think that's gonna be our little thing. All right, guys. So the G center. I mean, when we get to the mystery of the G center, this is, I mean, this is enough fairy dust to keep you occupied for the rest of your life. I mean, when I say fairy dust, I just mean you go ahead and try to get your mind around this one. Go ahead. Take a run at it. Do all you like. But I mean, to come to grips that we're flying through space at 160,000 miles an hour, 152,000 miles an hour, in a straight line. We have no access to that line. We have no ability to influence that line. If there's any possibility at all, it's just enough to pull on the leash to suffer. Okay? Now, look, this is whether you have a defined G center or not. This is what the G center is. Love, direction, behavior, seat of the magnetic monopole. I mean, this is what holds you together in the illusion that you're separate from everyone else. And I believe it was Maya, getting extra credit, emailed me like, where does the G center fit into these categories? Because it's not an awareness center, it's not a mode. Yes, good, yes. It doesn't fit into any category. We don't even know why it's called the G center. The voice forgot to tell Ra why the fuck it's called the G center. You'll get that question. Some good answers, if you don't want to get into all that nonsense, is, oh, it could stand for gravity, geometry, gravity being like what holds you together, geometry being what holds you in your geometry in space. Or, and like I've said, and it depends on who you're talking to. You could also say this is like the spiritual heart. This is what people are looking for when they say they're on a heart path. It's not the ego that we know in human design as the heart, but this is like the spiritual heart. This opening, blossoming lotus flowers and petals. Joan's making funny faces. And guys, I mean, just to even understand to be in one of these bioforms, 125 billion miles of DNA strand encoding. I thought it was million. You told me
5 million times around the Earth for one human DNA if you strung it all together. Yeah. I believe that's what the number.
5 million times around the Earth.
Yeah.
Or to the moon and back, or something.
Yeah, something to Saturn and back.
Something so uncomprehendable that, like the G center, go ahead and you guys go ahead and mentally masturbate on that all you want. The fun part is just to relax and see that it's the life. It's the life. It is happening. Dude, geometry, it's incredibly specific. The mind can't even fathom the recreation, the cellular recreation that's happening in your body, much less your line in space. I mean, your mind can't even properly understand maybe digestion or whatever, unless you really get in and study that, and then it will simply be a mental concept. But think about it, that your mind has no access to this. And what do we spend our whole lives trying to do? Fix ourselves, navigate, design. Even human design, it gets dangerous when you, it's just correct. It's not correct. It's correct. It's like, I don't know, dude. At the level when you get to the magnetic monopole, nobody's doing shit, okay? We're all pretending that we're here on a Sunday. We're all pretending that we're learning something, okay? And if you're really good at it, you can pretend to get paid at it. It can be the way that you pretend to make a living. And all of you have this potential to look forward to, but most importantly, that you get your life. Okay. Um, I laughed because my mind wants nothing to do with this. Really, at the ultimate level, my mind thinks it should be on a beach somewhere, surfing and eating coconuts. Okay. I'm in I'm in a bunker in Sedona in the fucking desert. Okay. This is how much control I have. And I'm a defined G. You know? So unhealthy defined Gs, okay, they assume they're in charge of their life, the direction and its purpose. And dude, it just you just start pushing, and it's like boom, you don't have any access. And you end up just going right off the rails. Now, it's not that different than a car crash, guys, because you're only going to go 10 feet off the road and then be dead, okay? It's not like you're going to change the direction of what's going. They think they know what direction, purpose, and so forth is best for others. I mean, it's like me thinking that you, like as a defined G, like me trying to put my trip on you. Now, you being attracted to me and my trip is very different than me trying to put my trip on you. And it's something I want you guys to really get sensitive to and almost defensive about anybody coming at you with their trip. Just, ugh. Is that the right, the right the right nomenclature, the right vocabulary? Yeah. You stay over there with your trip, and yeah, in a healthy defined G, configuration, we don't question our purpose, our direction. We're comfortable with our identity and self-love. It's like, no, it's really okay being me. It's okay being me, and it's okay that I'm a heretic, and I'm now speaking of my design specifically. It's okay that a lot of people don't dig that. It's okay because I can't change it. And this is one of those weird places where, like you guys may have heard me say it before, but I have never ever asked the question, who am I? I mean, we're about to do the open G in a second, but I've never asked that question. I got a stack of shit that I do question, and I think, I have I got a different pile of maladies. Let's just put it that way. But this one in particular, and that was a cutting day for me, the day my friend confided in me that his major question in his life, he was an open G, was just, who am I? Who am I? Even like while he was waiting for waves or getting ready to go kite surfing, who am I? Who am I? And I looked at him, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, I was just learning human design, so it took me a while to really grasp the significance of that. It's taken me a long time to grasp the significance of lots of things that I've seen while being in this process. They bring specific identities, behaviors, directions, and love into the world. So if you're an open G and you dig my trip, it's okay to get on my trip as long as you don't think it's your trip. Just understand the difference. As an open G, you are going to get on defined G trips. It's just part of the mechanic. It's just got to be correct for you. And it's like, but treat it like it's a roller coaster. You pay your money and you take the ride and then you get off. You don't try to make it you. And so place in the now. The 7 and the 13 is where we were playing with these role gates. Each of you will have a collective role, a collective way you express, a way you express to the collective. You'll also have a way in which you receive information from the collective. Those have been the most helpful role gates, and it was funny that several people have agreed with me, but we'll be getting to that in Red Cartography. 15, love of humanity. It's also extremes, guys. The 10, love of the self. I love my heretical behavior. 46, love of the body. Yeah. 25, universal love. I mean, this is where you love your guitar as much as you love your girlfriend, and that can be dangerous depending on who digs that, who doesn't. And then the 2 is, the 2 is where, underneath where the 2 is, defined or not, that's actually the seat of the magnetic monopole. If you guys missed that, or we haven't covered it. Okay, and we have an expanded open G section because Joan made the presentation. We have a nicely expanded G section this year. So the open G, it has no fixed identity behavior. I love the hummingbird flying down. It has no fixed identity, behavior, or sense of love. It's not without direction. It simply has no consistent access to direction. So, guys, think of this. You come into this world. Everybody expects you to know what the fuck you're doing, where you're going, who you are. What are you going to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? And all of a sudden, it's like, just like any open center, you start trying to fix it. And so, open G, what's the secret? Place, place. What a nice navigational tool. Be in the right place. And that the open Gs really are chameleons. Like, look, I could never pull this off. No matter where I go. No matter where I go, dude, I am fucking there. Like me, don't like me, And then, being open emotional at the same time, that open G trip, being able to move through different environments a little less announced. It's like I step into an environment and I just give this frequency off. It's like I'm there. But the open Gs can really move through. I mean, you can go to the biker bar right after the prom. I mean, it's really okay. You can pull that off. I'd probably get beat up at the prom. I'd be fine at the biker bar. And I'd no problem at the biker bar. They take on the role, the look and feel of the people in the environments they're in. It's really a trippy thing. And they are conditioned to know who they are and what they should be and where they should be going. And what did you write some nice stuff here? They are conditioned to know their direction and to seek stability when their nature is to experience variety. Okay, right. That's a nice way of saying that. that there is really this need to try to fix. This is my love. This is my identity. This is my direction. Okay. Now look, this is actually a picture of speed dating. Now I didn't know that there was a thing called. I barely know that there's a thing called dating, much less speed dating. Okay, and this came from L.A. somewhere. This is actually a picture that somebody sent me. And I guess what they do is, I mean, they're just looking for a mate. They're looking for someone else to connect with. And what is my role? What is my purpose? This is the unhealthy open G. It like lives in this frequency, trying to fill a bucket that cannot be filled. It's a bucket with holes in it. Guys, any open center you have is a bucket with holes in it. No matter how much you fill it, it's just going to run out the bottom. And then you're really going to get in this manic, I need to fix that thing. How can I find love? I'm so lonely. If only I could find the perfect lover, I could be complete. What is my purpose? I mean, do you guys, especially if you go on to become guides and work with people, I mean, dude, it is so funny how many people are looking for their purpose, looking for them. I mean, it's funny when someone goes, what is my purpose? What is my life purpose? As if you could mentally understand that to begin with. I don't understand my purpose, and I have this. I can't imagine the tyranny that you live under with that openness. Who am I? I'm meditating to be more myself. Look, if you're meditating to look at the back of your eyelids, I approve. If sitting and breathing somewhere helps you get centered and brings you into the now and allows you to be in a space where you can really be more yourself, great. But if you're doing any of these spiritual practices to get somewhere, yoga, whatever, you're doing it to get or become or whatever, just know that you're back in some trap. Now, if any of that is, again, just correct for your life, great. But the agendas have got to leave, guys. I mean, you can't be in charge of your life and not in charge of your life at the same time. You can't be a passenger and telling the driver what to do. It's not, they don't work. And from here to there is a long road. And I don't know if there is a there to get to, guys. There is a total unfolding of this process. That's what I see. Did I miss anything? I've been in therapy for years, getting to the bottom of this myself thing. Yes, I need a therapist. And so, and I gave you guys a little bit on this, but the healthy open G, giving up the attachment to specific identity or love. Guys, I think it would be, I mean, if of any center, it looks like it would be fun to have open from this perspective now. It would be the G because you can get on different rides. You can go, okay, I'm going to take this ride. I'm going to take that ride. And now I say that having a defined G, but that you get to experience all these different spectrums of life that people with defined G's just simply will not, they don't. They have them. And it's all about place, it's all about place. It's like, look, are you in the right place? You're in the right place. The right people are going to be there. You may need to settle down because I understand that it's a huge deal, but we'll see how that goes. City, country, even a place in even the chair you sit in, like where you sit in a room. Become very geometry sensitive. Let geometry, if you're open G, let geometry be one of your major navigational tools. Of course, you have your aura and you have your authority, and right after that, as an open G, the next one, hey, am I in the right place? Yeah. And is there that feeling of trying to hang on to some other love or direction and so forth? Just come to grips with it and know it's not going away, at least as far as I can. Yeah. So the G center, unhealthy, defined, allows the mind and others to initiate its direction, can pressure others to know theirs, like whatever. If I let my mind do what it thinks it should do, we would be in big trouble. And if I tried to put my chirp on you, we'd also have a big problem.
You'd be back in Hawaii.
I'd be back in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I would have never left the surf school.
Uh-huh.
It was 2 to 3 hours a day. I make basically what I make now. It's the same 2 or 3 hours that I work doing human design, but I do not have to deal with everyone's shit, their problems, and I don't mean that because I am working with you guys. Dude, I love what I do. I do, but my mind would have never chosen this. It's very trippy. It's exactly not the successful entrepreneur thing I thought I was most of my life. Extreme sports, all of it. It's all gone. Dude, I can barely ride a bike now. It's like, it's so bad, And that the G center, the healthy, it doesn't question its purpose or its direction. It doesn't, guys, look, at the deepest level, the second you start to question what's going on, you're fucked. As soon as you think something should be different, I know we're supposed to be doing the defined healthy G, whatever. 43% of you are open, not half, but close to half the planet has no idea who they are. 70% have no idea what they're thinking about or why. Another 70% feel unworthy. I mean, guys, this is the human condition, G center, magnetic monopole, flying through space, no access. This is not awareness. There is nothing to discover here in terms of your geometry other than what happens. It's not like you're going to figure it out. Okay. Unhealthy, undefined. Constantly on the hunt for love and direction. What is my purpose? What is my role? And then the healthy sign, and I got to see this last year. I had so many open G's last year, and it was like, holy shit. Knows that place comes first. Enjoys the chameleon nature of what it is to be an open G, and allows themselves to have different experiences based on what's correct for you and what's correct for your life. Very simple, mentally, very simple. In your body, it's not going to be so simple. Well, I just mean it's not easy. It may sound simple. If you're an open G and you're just going, okay, I'm just going to let go of that today. Okay, great. If you can, let me know when it happens. Whew. All right. I'm doing sort of okay.
You are.
Getting a lot more relaxed. Okay. Heart center, the ego center, willpower, commitment, self-worth, and the material world. The deepest conditioner. Supposedly, this is the deepest conditioner. And generally, when I'm working with someone, I mean, it almost all, if they've got an open ego, this is where it comes back to. It really does. Now, the defined ego's got a whole nother trip, which is, it's a pain in the ass in a whole different direction. We're going to get there in a second. But, guys, think of the propaganda. Think of the clothes, the diets, the way you should look, the car you should drive, especially if you're in America, and I really don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but I mean, just the barrage of what you should be doing to be successful and feel like a success in this life. It's unbelievable. I mean, to a point where it's like, it's almost shocking for me to sit back with all my collective judgment and go, God, what a fucked up thing to put on us, to put on the human species that already can't really make commitments. The ego center itself. Now, remember, this is as much as I laugh and make fun of the tribe, because I do, and I have many tribal horror stories because I do. It's interesting how many tribal people still come to me. Why? Because they're over it too. They've seen the nonsense. Just because you have tribal circuitry doesn't mean you buy into tribal structures in this time of individuality. You can carry tribal definition and still be doing absolutely your own trip. Now, in that definition, of course, there's always going to be a bargain, but it's okay. There's always a fucking bargain. As soon as there's two humans, there's some sort of a bargain. Even Joan and I have a bargain, even though it's sort of hard to define sometimes. Anyway, and we don't have tribal circuitry, but just understand that's what's happening, that the ego center is the heart of the tribe. It's the heart of making babies, having material well-being. I mean, as much time as I spend making fun of them, I also see that we couldn't live without them. So last year I made fun of them, and the internet went down, then the electricity went off. So I'm being a little more careful this year. I'm tiptoeing my open emotion. I'm doing my open emotional tribal thing, okay? And I have tons of friends with tribal circuitry. Dude, it's just very different. You have to understand. All the other circuitry trying to get to the throat is either individual or collective. The tribe has one voice, and everything else converges at the ego center. So it really is the material plane. It is the material well-being. It's making babies. It's supporting each other. It's building roads and having schools. And this is all the ego's deal. Now, the thing is that only, 35% of the planet has it. So it's like we're all conditioned that we should all be this, and most of us aren't. And yeah, who feels worthy and who doesn't. And look, guys, this is where these go. I understand, as a defined ego person, you can have self-worth issues. Just like as a defined emotional person, you can have I can define head, I can have mental problems. Just because it's defined does not mean it's working right or it's not killing you. But there is a level of self-worth or feeling okay about yourself that when you don't have it is very obvious. So yeah, back to our open ego, open house. So the unhealthy defined ego, the mind hijacks the will and pushes others. I mean, there was actually a time where, and I got to be careful because both Anna and Maya, at least, if I'm remembering correctly, have the channel. I mean, both of them have offsetting gifts that help center the 4426 nonsense, the spleen to the ego. I'll tell you what, guys, these projectors, spleen to ego projectors, if they don't have the emotions and they don't have the sacral, they don't have anything else to lock it down, that spleen to ego, man, it is a pain in the ass, because especially with projector configurations, because the mind sees how things should work and then they start pushing to get it. I'm not saying that generators, manifesting generators, and manifestors don't also live with this trip. And remember, there is a mind-ego connection, defined or not. The mind and the ego work together. And with the defined ego, this is really dangerous because they do have the willpower. They have the willpower to push it through, push on through. You will see that most of you in this class don't have willpower. Most of the people coming to human design don't have willpower. It's just, I mean, if we look at our statistics, they would be very different than the world statistics. I'm just saying that the people that actually, because why? Because we actually know that there is something. We don't have this thing. The material plane is a spooky thing for us. And that doesn't mean defined egos have money falling out of the sky as some birthright. You know, maybe some do, but who knows? You know? So, and the defined ego is a very trippy thing because when it comes into my body, it does push. It does feel almost like there's a power there that I just don't have. And ego people can really, you know what you should do this. And unfortunately, they actually have the power to back that up, okay? So they pressure others to prove themselves. They pressure people to compete. Why can't you make promises? Why don't you? What's funny is the defined egos hardly never make a promise. I mean, open egos are, oh yeah, I'll do it. The defined ego rarely, you know, we'll see if I get around to it. So I think that's something interesting to watch. On the healthy side, the defined ego, it's comfortable with their abilities in the material world. A natural sense of self-esteem and self-worth. It's just there, guys. Even if you don't know it's there, physically, it's there. There's something solid there, and it's just a defined center. It's not esoteric. You know, it's a motor that's defined that says, I can basically live on this plane. Whether or not your mind believes it or not, that's a whole different story. It's just like my spleen knows it can survive on this plane until it doesn't. It doesn't mean my mind believes. So, you know, you really start to relax into strategy and authority to see what is correct for you. You know, what deserves the will, what deserves the commitment, and you know, this is in our next section. We'll get more into what all this tribal stuff is, but dude, it's any time 2 or 3 people get together. It's your friends, it's your yoga classes, it's your religion, it's human design. I mean, this is a tribe, unfortunately. We're going to get our Cult of One t-shirts printed. I would have already made Cult of One t-shirts for you, except I would have to mail them to you. No, if you guys all want to get Cult of One t-shirts, you can get together and then somebody can figure out who's going to mail them. But I like that. It's a cult of one. That's what human design really is. And so even thinking that there's communities and gatherings, it's like, yeah, there are. And my experience has been, it's never been my trip, you know, except when I'm actually invited to be the person in charge doing my trip. If that's not happening, it doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't. And, yeah, you know, I've been through, you know, 6 or 7 different teachers in about 14 years that I got to know long enough to understand that they were trying to put their trip on me, and they were all tribal. And I'm not saying there was anything wrong with that, but most of them had defined egos. Most of them were pushing. It was like, wow, dude, this is really a trippy thing for me to see in human design. It's like the defined ego doesn't even understand it's pushing. They don't. They have no awareness. It's just like I don't have any access to my defined root, what it does to open root people. I mean, I can see it because I pay attention, but I never intentionally pressure people. But somehow that ego, when the mind decides that it thinks it's right, and that ego will just get right in there and push with it. It's a trippy deal, guys, so just watch for it. And it's a gift and a curse. Everything, gift and a curse. Is it good to have an ego? Yes, except when it's not. Is it good to have an open ego? Of course not, except when it is, you know. Where you're going to see most competition when you're actually going to see people trying to outdo each other, it's going to be in the open ego. They're going to be, this is where they've got no defined sense of self worth. This is where you find all of your self help. This is where you find all of your, do it like I did it. You know, you do feel like you have something to prove. I mean, just being okay that with the fact that you take up oxygen can be a stretch some days for the open ego. Every time you make a promise, you're dooming yourself to fail. You are dooming yourself to fail. And it's like, what are you? Are you really, are you worthy? Are you smart? Are you sexy? Whatever your trip is. Are you the craziest? Are you the most dangerous? I mean, it doesn't really matter. That world of competition, I lived in it for so long, and now it's so offensive to me. It's like, wow, I'm just not into it. It's like I'm probably having, like the 15-year-old counterbalance to, whatever. I'm just getting very reactive around those situations. And I see and I laugh at myself. No, that's my trip because I lived it for so long, and now everyone that's doing it is wrong. Like the alcoholic that got sober yesterday, and anybody that has a beer is fucking wrong. So again, watch yourself, and then watch what pushes your buttons. Watch what you react to, guys, because it's always going to point something back to you. I mean, as much as I get pissed and yell at everyone, and I go through my own madness, at the end of the day, there's an inventory. There's a reckoning. There's a balancing of the scales. Am I being honest with myself? How fucked up am I really being here? Am I being a dumbass, basically? So you don't make promises. How nice is that? If you have an open ego, you don't have to make any promises ever again, ever.
When I write emails now, if the word will comes out,
yeah,
I like, okay, let's just see how else I could say this, because I really don't know if I will.
Right.
Or if there's a time involved, or I might say I will do that tomorrow, and I am watching now how many times I don't do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll try to get to it.
Something, I don't know. But
no.
I mean, even that simple.
No, I do too. I see myself. I write or I'll say it. Wait. In mid sentence, I'll stop myself because it's like, no, I'm not. You're not going to get me in that trap. So every time we don't, or we're not able to fulfill our promises and keep our commitments, then we feel less worthy, and down the rabbit hole we go. Okay. Always pushing, destroying the body. Yeah, and this is really, oh man, am I going to go on this one? No. I'm going to just say something I really saw in one way or another. I had this really hard hit one day that the open ego killed my brother. I know that it killed my dad, and I'm okay saying that because I watched it for so long. I mean, I watched him try to do what he was supposed to do his whole life. Yeah, and there is no fault, there is no blame. It's something that unless somehow he really unraveled himself the last 6 months, it's just difficult to do one way or another. This thing killed both my dad and my brother, and I hope it's not going to kill me. I hope something else kills me.
And it can happen with defined ego too. There can be a push. I don't know if you talked about that. To the push. Pushing your heart as a defined ego. Yeah. Is not any healthier.
Oh no! I think that's where you can get further down the road, because I mean the ego is dangerous because it can keep up that commitment. See, I would make promises and commitments, and I wasn't going to do this, or I was going to do that, or whatever, and you could do it for a while, but you fail. The defined ego just keeps on going. I mean, it can be to Timbuktu before it realizes. So, guys, just look. This is all about learning. Nothing is better or worse. No one got the bad deal here. It's just these are the mechanics. The openness is where most of us suffer. You guys that are newer to human design or newer to my teaching in human design, or especially when you go to share with other people, the openness is where, that's where you can just get them. You can just get the hook in them right away and just go, okay, do you feel that you have this? And most of the time, if they have any awareness whatsoever, they'll recognize that. And I mean, in my first reading, and you guys probably have heard this story so many times it's making you sick, I only got two things. One, my whole life I've been trying to prove myself. I mean, that was the torpedo that brought down a battleship, dude. It was just like, holy, I mean, it just started sinking right there. I mean, I was like, oh shit. And you know, everyone, the lifeboats are going off, but you're in the middle of the ocean. So finally, I mean, it just started sinking. And then the other was, if I couldn't get out of my mind, I would never be able to understand what human design was. And at that point, I didn't even know what getting out of my mind might mean. You know, and of course, said to me from someone who had an open mind. And so out of my mind was very different than him being out of his mind. Okay. The healthy undefined ego. Now, this is the dream.
It is the dream.
This is the dream right here. Okay. I'll let you know when I get here. Without getting involved in the need to prove yourself, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay. I can basically get on board with, I don't really feel like I'm trying to prove myself too often anymore. Okay. I can even get behind that it's okay if I exist. I mean, I've made it the first two steps. Maybe I'm not on the top of the skyscraper here, you know, or in the airplane. It's like no, but can you sit back and enjoy the show? You know, like we did something yesterday, and I was totally fine until everyone left, and then it was just. You didn't say that right. You didn't pay enough. I mean, dude, it was like, oh my God, dude. After today's lecture, I am sure a similar experience awaits me. So all I know is that there is a voice in my head still, guys, that doesn't think that anything I've ever done has been good enough. I'm sharing that with you as an open ego only because it's such a deep conditioner for so many people. And as far as I can tell, the voice hasn't gone away. You know, I know it's there for other people that have been in human design as long as I have. You know, almost everyone is honest about it. I mean, there's maybe one or two people that say somehow they're totally over it. And I'm like, you know, my mind, my body kind of goes to a bullshit frequency on that. Like maybe they've talked themselves into being over it or something. But okay, the potential is you could get over it. You could. Especially those of you that have completely open egos, you don't have any activations. I mean, there's some nuances with the way mine's defined that it really may never go away. And that's okay, as long as I'm not making decisions out of it, you know? I mean, that's all it is like, are you making decisions out of places that aren't you? And can you just sit back and know that, no, it's okay that you're alive. The material world probably will be scary. You don't need to make promises, and you can kind of let go of needing to push yourself or overcome things or prove yourself. Now, the flip side of this is this, guys. If your life was based on being successful out of your open ego, as mine was completely, I did engage the open ego in the beginning of my experiment, unbeknownst to me. While trying not to prove myself, I was proving that I could do human design, if that makes sense. So I'm just saying that those things that are there, I mean, now, by the same token, someone with a defined will could make a very healthy commitment to like, you know what, I am just going to fucking respond, you know? And then the open ego can make that same commitment. It won't hold up as well, but... But I'm just saying that same power, while you're killing it, it can be engaged. And this is sort of true with every open center, guys. The very things that have made you successful out there in the world, whatever got you this far that was working for you, self or not self, can now be, you can do a little judo move on it and get it to work for you for a while until it burns itself out. Because it is like a tank of fuel. Any open center is like a tank of fuel that needs to be burned off. And it's not that you're not always taking new stuff in, but there's a lifetime of shit to get out of there. So I suggest that.
There's a question. You want to do a question or keep
going? Yeah, we can do a question.
Hanoi asks if there's a level of enjoyment watching your open ego talk, like maybe that's why it's not going away.
Enjoyment. That might not be the word. It's a very legitimate question. My response to that would only be from my own personal experience. It hasn't gone away for you.
It's louder these days.
It's louder these days, yeah. And even Teresa, I mean, at 18 years, I mean, dude, yeah. I mean, she's totally individual, emotional, all of it, and she can get.
She can.
Yeah.
Okay.
She won't admit it.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard.
Probably not out loud. She's probably mad that I'm telling people. We're gonna edit this out. Hanalei, let me throw it back at you. What is your experience? Do you enjoy it?
Something like to do with liking how fucking painful it is.
Now, see, now that I can get on board with. Yeah, Hanalei, if we're gonna go like a little S&M here, or whatever, like isn't that sadomasochistic?
Yes,
it doesn't have to mean sex. It just means that
it is
masochistic or whatever. Yeah, I mean there is there is a little dark humor with it, yes, but it is a very dark humor. And I have an emotional mind, so once it gets going on something, I mean, this is where, you guys that are emotional can maybe relate a little bit. Once it gets in there, once it gets a cog in the wheel, I mean, it's got this whole cycle to play out. But I can also say it doesn't, as best I know, it doesn't really move me much anymore. And I only really feel it puff up in situations that are really like, surfing or other mountain bikers or in those sorts of environments. It's probably why I haven't gone back into any sort of martial arts, because it's like, like my friend in Hawaii used to say, he's like, I just can't go, I can't, because I can't, he laughs. He goes, I'm not strong enough to go to the mountain bike race. I can't. I can't not compete. I know I'm open ego. I can't not compete out in the waves. It's like, we're not strong.
And it's a natural mechanic. There's it's an open center. It amplifies what's defined.
Yeah.
And I guess you could, be aware and still do that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's good, could happen. Strategy authority.
Yeah, totally. And the funny part is that I used to do all this stuff, but the thing that got me to do it doesn't exist anymore. So it's even funnier, So yeah. So, but hey, whatever you find will be your truth there. Okay. Defined unhealthy, pumped up ego, expecting others to have willpower and make promises. You can do it. And then the defined healthy ego, relaxed about self-worth and value, but doesn't pressure other people with their will to do stuff. They just get it. It's like, oh, they've got defined ego, and they're not going to put their trip on other people. Doesn't pressure others to promise what they can't. Yeah. But again, guys, we're making the assumption that we're living in a world where anyone gives a shit and anybody knows. So this is first and foremost self-defense for you. And undefined. I mean, shit, I only say it because I've seen person after person in human design with defined egos try to pressure me to do whatever the fuck they thought I was supposed to do. I mean, people with more time and way more knowledge in this shit than I have. And I just sit there looking at them just going, that's the one that takes a while to get out of the system, Unhealthy, undefined, feels pressure to prove and make promises, often undervalues itself. Yeah, it does. I struggle with this. I do struggle with that. I should raise my prices. Yes, I should. I shouldn't give so much. No, I shouldn't. But I do. Does that mean I don't value myself? Or am I just enjoying what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah.
You see how that can be flipped around? And the fact that I do stuff for free, guys, do you know how much shit I've gotten from the human design world because I put out stuff for free? It's fucking amazing. And I'm just having fun. It's like, well, what do you guys do for fun? You take trips or chase girls or whatever you guys do. You go have fun. Human design is fun for me. Um, and then the healthy, able to work without making promises, no need to defend or prove. And that defending is really a funny thing, guys, because that's where you really that's where the rubber meets the road. It's like when you don't have to defend yourself anymore. I have definitely lashed back a few times at some people, and I own my shit in that. But um, dude, if you get in the world of, and now I'm back talking to everyone, I'm not on the ego. If you get in the world of who's right, who's wrong, this and that, good and bad, you're lost in the seven-centered mind, guys. It has no place in what we're doing or talking about here. None. You have no access to your life. You have no idea where you're fucking going. You're not in charge of this. I don't know how many, dude. You might, if the forces dictate that you are lucky and the gods grace you with golden showers of whatever, you might get to relax before you die. Now, am I relaxed? I'm way more relaxed than I used to be. Okay, Luke had a question.
Yeah, his client made a comment. Maybe it's the only way to start the process for some open ego people, doing it to prove themselves worthy in a sense, or at least that's the way the mind might see it.
Yeah. There were definitely people I was trying to prove myself to in the beginning of this, Luca. I didn't know it then. See, I mean, this is the beauty of being a dumbass. Okay, the beauty of being a dumbass and being okay being a dumbass is it's okay to look back and laugh at that. I mean, it's going to be fun for you to look back at whatever you discover as you go along and unravel as you go along as well. It's you just see it. I mean, this is where I was speaking about awareness. The potential awareness here is so far beyond what any other technique or philosophy or path has shown me in terms of how much awareness is available to you. It's like not only can, as a projector especially, not only can I be aware of this and that nothing matters and truly nothing matters and it's just a life that's happening, but then I can also watch how everybody else works in the movie. I can watch their trips. I can watch what they say and what they do, which I'm always watching, which is basically when you guys are going to find the 10-5, just go, your words don't have to follow your actions. It's this simple. That's bullshit, gone. And but it's the gift of being a dumbass. It's the gift of not needing to be smart. It's the gift of not needing to prove or think that I know better than any of you. I mean, hopefully, if nothing else, that's why you guys are comfortable being here and attracted, is like, I don't think I know better than you. I don't. And I got in a big discussion yesterday about some other teachers and so forth, and they're like, they need to make you wrong in order to fix you. And it's like, wow.
That was gross.
I know. It was like when Teresa said that, I was like, yeah, it's almost like they need to make you wrong in order to fix you instead of like just trying to
me.
Yeah, yeah, you need me instead of just trying to pull you out of the mud. And go, yeah, you got some mud on you, but what the fuck are you gonna do? You were in a mud puddle. You're not wrong. Let's get a hose, Anyway, so yeah, good comment, Luca. I'm sorry if I got off too much.
Well, you invited me back in the very first moments, when we were up on the Thursday nights to use my open ego to prove that I could do this.
That you could keep the split in the backyard.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're basically at our hour, and we have a whole nother center. I saw somebody.
The Hanalei, that temporary feelings of worthiness that sometimes happens is so attractive that mind gets hooked on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it tries to achieve it time and time again. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So then you try to do more.
Of that.
Yeah, you try to do more. You try to fix a bucket with holes in it. The bucket has holes in it. Every open center is just running out. And that was me too. I mean, that's why I can see Honda Lake is it was competition in surfing and skating and skydiving and martial arts and just basically everything. There was nothing but competing. And it was only who could take off on the bigger wave or do the most formations, skydiving. I mean, it was just an insane thing to see that I lived through. Okay. Is everybody cool that we go on and I do the Sacral Center? The thing with the Sacral Center is it gets done 3 times. We did it with the aura. We do it with, we're about to do it again in authority. But today I'm just going to talk about it as a center. Is everyone go for it? Okay. Cool. What was funny is before class, I just felt like just making it a forum and talking to everyone. Yeah. Okay. So the Sacral Center. It's energy in response. Remember, guys, it's just a motor sitting there. It is on, it is vibrating, but until it has something to respond to, it can't be in a healthy expression of that energy. And wherever it's going, emotion, sacral, wherever, I put the Sacral Center at the end this year. I did not give it prominence. Yes, bow to the sacral. I've been bowing to the sacral long enough. And I'm only teasing. Of course, dude, it's our whole planet, dude. And it's what makes this game funny for someone with an open sacral. But think of it, 34, it used to be 30%, whatever, of the population do not have life force. I mean, I can see them all energetic and enthused and alive and all those things that are in my design. Yeah, I can do that for an hour to 3 hours a day. And that's it. And then there's going to be laying on the couch. There's going to be TV, Netflix or whatever.
And eating.
Eating. Yeah, no, survival. The coffee shop. I might even hike, but this whole having to hike at like 7 o'clock at night thing is really not my gig. I don't know what's going on with that. But so we're living in this, and look, most of the places, this energy is not expressed in any sort of a healthy way. Even hiking. People here on vacation, they're hiking. They walk by me. They feel like a fucking freight train of distorted energy in a hurry, pushing. It's almost like a car that's not running well. I mean, as an open sacral, that's how I can see where people are at energetically. It's like, it feels like an engine that's just not running well. And it's like the mind is pushing on the life force. But it is availability, it's regeneration or not, it's life force, it's sexuality, it's everything. It creates a generator aura. Automatically, boom, you have the defined sacral, you have an attractive aura. Why? Because life is response. See, the 7-centered life was all about the mind figuring shit out and conquering it. Now we're living in a frequency of response, right? I'm not saying they weren't supposed to be doing that either. I'm just saying that's what was going on. There was a greater emphasis on the mind's ability to conquer this plane. And to understand that we really are in a software patch right now, guys. You're alive right now. You're part of this little patch in the evolution of the species human. I just got scared. It's weird. It was weird. I just got this like weird chill went through my body. I was like, whoa. Yeah. Not only is this a trippy life, but this is maybe the trippiest time you could have ever been alive. Other than like when the pyramids were falling or something, or one of those civilizations just disappeared, I mean, because essentially, guys, do you understand? I'm going to go on a little sidebar here. You understand that that's what we're dealing with here, right? All these civilizations that just disappeared? Well, those of you that really want to get into that research, you look at that in terms of the global 400-year cycle. And you'll see when civilizations disappeared. And to know that we're on the precipice of that. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I'm not. This is how you don't go down with this shit. or at least enjoy rearranging the chairs while the ship sinks. I mean, if you know you're just rearranging the deck chairs on a ship that's sinking, you can laugh about it and have fun. Life as it is on Earth comes from every individual sacral, comes from the planet itself. I mean, life force is this planet. This is why we say it's the generator's planet. It's your planet, guys. And the sacral center is like a diaphragm. It opens or closes in response. But it's primitive. It's dumb. It's not aware. It doesn't know fucking anything. All it knows is, my energy's available. My energy's not available. My energy's available. My energy's not available. And if you're emotional, of course, that becomes the predominant frequency you're going to, but you're actually just, do I feel that this energy is available? Or do I not feel that this energy is available? And remember, guys, if this is your life, this is your billfold. Think of it like taking out $100 bills. If you're going to give your energy to something, make sure it's something you really want to give your energy to. I mean, it seems simple. Even Ra went down, he died wanting to kill the generators, because he thought it could be so simple for them, and it's not. It's not simple for anyone, especially with the way we've all been raised, and the hangover of 70,000 years of figuring shit out with our minds, and that's why this trip is not for everyone, Yeah, just go take another class. Yeah. Let's see. It sets the tone for all life. Yeah. So what are we looking? We're on an emotional MG planet. We're on a frustrated, angry, emotionally reactive planet. That's the planet. It's not nice and pretty like this Earth. It doesn't look like that. We should have put a red tent over that with some screaming kids or something. Bombs going off.
That was the optimum.
That was, the possibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, honestly, guys, this is what it feels like. It's just like these, just trudging along, usually fast. Most people moving sort of fast. The divine, they don't trust life. They don't. They don't understand their life force. They initiate something to make something happen. The sacral being loses touch with its response and can't function properly. It gets frustrated, it degenerates, it beats its kids, it kicks its dogs. It's frustrated. It's just like, fuck. And somehow in their DNA, they know they got this juice, but they can't get access to it. And it doesn't work cleanly and easily for them. So they end up in this frequency of degeneration. And this is where, I don't know if like going out into the public milieu, I don't know if going out into the public aura is really open solar plexus, even for me, if I just don't want to take in the energy. How about this? I don't give a shit anymore. I really like you guys all to get to a place in your design where you just don't give a shit anymore. If it's your open ego, if it's your defined ego, you're just watching. And you're letting this thing continue to unravel, and you're doing your best to stay out of the fucking way, and you just let life happen. And then we can even get to this bigger thing, and and those of you that got into Jed's work, what's indicated is a great thing for everyone. It's like this is what life is saying. It's like this is what my energy is saying. This is what my this is what I'm reacting to as a projector, reacting in terms of energetic. The energy's coming at me. It's just indicated this is what's next. I mean, before you even maybe get to like, was that my sacral? Is that my spleen? Am I clear? It's like, dude, just watch. Just watch. And then you can tell us how it works. And then we invite you on the talk show next year, and you can have meltdowns like all the people I'm inviting back this year. Like, it's the advanced Jedi training. Advanced Jedi training is we make you get up and do a lecture. This is level 1. Level 2 is, we'll put you on some talk shows, because the more people that we have experimenting with this, the more different views we have. And this is where I kind of am just, except with a few people here and there, some of the old guard of the teachers and stuff, I really don't resonate with, because they all kind of come from this I know better than you guru background. A lot of them do, or either that or total business backgrounds, which I have too. But it's like the frequency doesn't seem all that empowering. At least the bits and pieces I've caught here and there. Now, having said that, there's incredibly great information to be had, but I don't know how empowering a lot of it is. That's, I don't know what my trip is today. I'm having my 10-5. I'm having a 10-5. So the healthy sacral, it's really simple. It just regenerates, guys. It's just, dude, it's life working and you not arguing with life. It really is. It's naturally replenishing itself. It's like if you could just come back as a kid, and like Rob was, oh, this information it was for the kids. Yeah, sure, it's for kids. If the fucking adults know it. I mean, if you're a parent, okay, maybe this is for the children, but there's no way this is going straight to kids, because it has to go through the parents. And you guys can imagine look, this is the greatest information on the planet. Why isn't it on Oprah or whoever?
She's off the air.
Is she? Okay. I only learn.
But yeah.
I learn about people after. It's the benefit of not having TV. Why isn't it on CNN? I mean, why isn't there not, Discovery Channel? I mean, why isn't it? Well, because it's too out there, guys. Nobody wants to hear we're not in control. Now, this is really funny because I so feel like that little cat. I mean, guys, especially right now where it really is like 2 or 3 o'clock, hiking right now is not really an option. Maybe sitting in the creek or something, but it's just not my trip. It's not water the way but dude, I'd like to go work out. This is how I feel about 6 or 7 when I could go hiking. It's like, I'd like to go work out, except I'm not, And the open sacral, there is no regeneration, because the sacral energy is just an amplification. It's like, there is no regeneration. It's just that simple. Let me just make this up. There is no regeneration. There is no replenishing because we used up our energy. We use what we used, and then it's gone. We have and it's like, even if you have no motors, because several of you in here obviously have that, and are projectors or even reflectors. It's not like you don't have a life. It's not like there's not life force running through your body. You have a life. You exist. You're a bioform. But you do not have this mechanism that replenishes itself by using up energy. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way. So where the defined sacrals need to spend their money, spend their energy in a good way that's healthy for them, and then they get a nice return on their investment. The open sacral has to learn to respect its energetic boundary, because there is nothing that says off for us, guys. I mean, I've been in situations where, like, even, teachings, when I walk out of that aura, it's just like, whoa, okay, I'm done. I didn't realize how done I was. And as an open sacral being, it is so hard to pull yourself out of those situations because you feel like you're going to miss something. I'm not so much anymore, but in the beginning, I mean, I do know there's such an addiction to that world of energy, and just to really understand that it's not us. Okay. Unhealthy open sacrals. Wait a second. You just had you had an introduction to the open sacral. Right.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I see Joan's messing with the pattern again.
I might have, actually. I see now.
No, it's okay. I didn't catch this one. Okay. So the unhealthy open sacral: work, sex, food, never knowing when enough is enough. Coffee, cigarettes, headphone, keyboard. That is some funny shit right there. The guy lying on the floor, this is what most of us look like, I mean, oh, come on. And that's after that's after the after party, right? I mean, because this was definitely me, and the party scene was definitely me, and I would ride that thing, and I'd take all the drugs, and I didn't know when enough was enough. And then 2 days later, I'd be laying on the floor, because you would party for 2 or 3 days straight, no sleep, Not saying it was the healthiest time of my life, but then you'd end up depressed, wanting to kill yourself, and then, at that time, having to go back to work that day. you know, Realizing that one doesn't have that life force can be terrifying. It can. To pull yourself out of the party, to pull yourself away from the life force, it's a scary trip, guys. So, you know, yeah. To really know that not doing is always better than doing for us. Not, I mean, if there's a question, don't. I know that timing, if I just trust the timing, trust my place, trust the timing, trust my place, trust the timing, it all gets done. I don't have to try to do it like the generators do it because it ain't going to work that way. I mean, for Joan, doing nothing is working on PowerPoints or knitting.
When it is.
Yeah, when it is.
Yeah.
For me, doing nothing really is doing nothing. I mean, reading a book or watching Netflix or whatever. I mean, that is. The healthy open sacral does not try to keep up with the sacral beings. When you know your energy, you can respect it. Noticing what energy is being taken in, going to bed before you're tired, and sleeping alone. Please, guys. I mean, everyone, please sleep in your own aura. Please. Please, for yourselves. I mean, my cat jumps on my bed sometimes. Even that supposedly is some sort of disturbance, but he's a sneaky little bastard. Noticing what energy, and somebody was like, "Oh, good, we know Jaya's running the show. Then everything's okay." They weren't being
Where
nice.
Is he?
They weren't being nice either. They were being a dick. I don't have enough energy to make sure my cat doesn't jump on my bed in the middle of the night. Noticing what energy is being taken in, going to bed before you're tired, and sleeping alone will help. You see how much energy you really have, guys. I mean, if you just take yourself out of the energy long enough, you'll understand, oh my God, I don't have life force the way most humans have life force. I mean, it will trip you the fuck out. I started with, I'm going to do this for, beach, it had to be like at least 3 to 5 years of almost, other than a little interaction at the beach with surfing and a little interaction towards the end of that period, going to a couple of speaking events for human design. Dude, other than another projector that lived 40 feet away, not even sort of close to my house, 50 feet, whatever, away on the same property in another little hut, I had almost no human interaction. I mean, none. And I mean, I looked like that guy on the floor after the party. And it wasn't just after the party, it was like for 3 years. I mean, I couldn't even sometimes have enough energy to feed myself. It was weird. And then somehow it stabilized and now it's okay. But it was like I really came to terms that I had been living on speed my entire life. Scary thing to understand. Okay. Noticing what energy is being taken in, going to bed before you're tired, sleeping alone, will show you how much energy you have. That's a nice sentence. It's for the open ego. Devin actually reads these. It's nice. Nice that somebody does. I mean, you put a lot of work into them. And then the defined, unhealthy defined allows mind. Dude, what is the keynote for the when it's not working right? The mind is doing something. It's pushing. It's trying to get. I mean, it's always
fixing.
It's fixing, right? Allows the mind to push their life, jumps into action, volunteers their energy. Oh yeah, I'll do it. Usually, ego with. Open ego defines sacral. Open ego period is the I'll do it. But then, yeah, unhealthy volunteers the energy when it's not really there. Pressure to do it, under stress, guilty, whatever. Okay. Healthy doesn't initiate, trust its energetic response to life, and determines what to engage with. Now, guys, look, you're a sacral being. The only thing you got to figure out is What do I give my fucking energy to? Yeah, I want to kill you guys.
And learn what that response is
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah. But it is just one thing.
Uh-huh.
What to give your energy to. Unlike the projector.
Wait.
Wait for it. Wait. We have to figure everything out. And then we still don't know shit. You guys have one thing to figure out. And then you still don't know shit either, but at least it was only one thing. But what's funny about that is you guys have the energy to figure it out. Meaning, who are most of the teachers in human design? Most of the people out doing human pumping out stuff, they're all energy beings. You know, it's trippy to see that. And then the projectors are the ones that were like, we got to figure all of this out, and then maybe if we figure everything out, we might sort of understand ourselves. And then the reflector, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, just let's just say that's a different entity. But and it's no less hard either direction. It's just one of those funny things, like the emotion being all about passion and joy or sadness or whatever, but not really laughing. You know, it's just one of these things. Like the generator would have the energy to study all day and take a bunch of classes and experiment with all, but you know they don't need to. They need to learn one thing. But getting them to learn that one thing, it's like getting people to go to the dentist. You know, they don't want to engage. And I'm not talking about the people that are here, because obviously you're here. Unhealthy, undefined, never knowing when enough is enough, addicted to work and sex and food. Yes, yes, yes. It was more like alcohol, drugs, sex, adrenaline, work, more sex.
I mean, is food actually right in this one?
What?
Food, I don't know, just question.
Yeah, I don't,
no.
I've never been a foodie.
Yes, I don't know. It could be solar plexus.
No, I like to go to the happy hour. I would eat whatever they had as long as I could drink. So
okay, drugs.
Yeah. I mean, I would have a much longer list. But dude, just never knowing when enough is enough. And bulimia. Yeah, I don't look.
I think that's solar plexus.
That's if the addiction. The only two addictions I know that I haven't had, or well, the only one that I really know that I haven't had of the major addictions is gambling. I've never been a gambler. But then somebody pointed out that I spent years jumping out of airplanes.
A gamble.
So exactly how was I lying about not being a gambler? It was just a different type of anyway. But then the healthy just doesn't try to keep up with the energy beings, knows when enough is enough, and learns its frequency, you know? And then the cat. And the cat's back in the jungle.
Happy, relaxed, not trying to prove itself.
Yeah, it's relaxed.
Using its energy correctly.
Yeah, he's relaxed.
On his trajectory.
Yeah, he's on his trajectory.
Yeah.
He'll get up and kill something when he needs to.
Yeah.
Until then, you know, what's the point? All right. Good. I must have gone over because they've started the discussion without.
No, it was just a question about eating disorders in the sacral, and I think it's solar plexus and Luca.
Yeah, this whole. I mean, for sure, food is in the solar. I mean, but not knowing when enough is enough. I mean, the open spleen, open sacral, open emotion. I mean, dude, look, it gets dangerous when we try to say this is that. This is where I'm asking you guys to come back and tell me this is your experience, you know, because it's like none of these mechanics live in a vacuum, guys. They are all. That's why I'm really stressing that you see the whole thing. Now that might just be a projector view, and I didn't acknowledge that. No.
No, I agree.
You agree?
And I love really just that you've been stating it, and maybe you did last year. You know, do your experiment, you report back.
Yeah. Do your experiment.
Because we don't know.
Yeah. Because we don't fucking know. And and then we have a lot of people that think they do know.
This is my experience. That's all they really have.
Yeah. Instead of it just being like, this is what I've learned and this is my experience doing my trip, it somehow starts to get just like It's why I'm so fearful of the tribe. It doesn't matter whether it's AA, NA, skydiving, surfing. I'm just not part of anything. And as soon as someone thinks they know better than me, Houston, we're gonna have a problem.
I mean, I was listening to the Nine Centers and I heard Ross say, you know, the solar plexus is the most conditioning thing or whatever, the deepest tentacles.
Mhm.
And Teresa, you know, we're having that discussion with her, but I thought, well, Ra had a defined ego, so he might not know.
Yeah, totally.
That's his experience.
Yeah. Well, the emotions is the most penetrating because it goes right to the nervous system.
Okay.
Do we want to end this recording for today?
Oh, okay, sure.
Before we just start the discussion. All right, that was a good one.